You know what? Let's start a bit early today. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? What's everyone been up to? Ugh. I'm tired. I've had job interviews for the last 2 days. 2 or 3 days. Can't even remember which days I did it on. But yeah, had some job interviews. I'm tired. Brisket has been a grotty teenager recently, so he's been running all over the place and me having to chase after him. So, yeah, it's been tiring. It's been all good. Right, give it a couple more minutes for people to show up. Unless... Is anyone else streaming today? I wonder if anyone else is streaming right now. Anyways, shout yourselves off in chat so I know who is here. Today's plan is we have got the XY plate off of the CNC. Looks really good, actually. So let's show you how good this looks. All right. So spent a little bit of time doing some CNC. Fucked up a few times, but it all looks pretty good. I did have one little fuck up on the other side. So the other side looks all right, but the counterbores aren't quite centered. It's not too bad of an issue. The bolt heads still fit fine, but yeah. Anyway, yes, it does look pretty good. It looks pretty good. Yeah. So plan is today we're finally going to get the X and Y axis mashed together and actually working as a mill table. I'll put that behind there because otherwise I'm gonna lose it. Right, so unfortunately, because I was kind of doing this, I'm doing this all in a weird order. Oh, hey Jose. I'm doing this all in a weird order. It means that I'm gonna have to take some stuff off of the Y-axis and off of the X-axis. So I can install this. It's not too big of an issue, but we can do it. Where is everyone? Normally we get a lot more people than this. I'm guessing someone else is streaming. Anyways, how are you doing, Jose? Right. I'm gonna try and remove some of these hold down bits and pieces. More just to give me the clearance once it's flipped over. Not about making dinner. Oh, what do you got? What are you having? What's on the table today? On the menu? Table? The menu? I guess both work. Both work. Hey, looks like we've got a few more people joining us. Sign yourselves off in chat. Let's see who is here. Remember, these streams go a lot nicer when there's some interaction, when there's people talking to each other. Simple Friday is stuffed burgers. What the hell is a stuffed burger? I mean, it's simple enough. I can imagine what a stuffed burger is, but what are you stuffing it with? Stuffed burgers are not a thing here in the UK. And inevitably there'll be one American in chat who'll go, yeah, taste isn't a thing in the UK. The British Empire conquered 90% of the world for spices and never bloody used any of them. Damascus, Evergladesdale. Gladysdale? Oh, Damascus Everglades. Oh my god. I fucked that one up. How you doing, bud? How you doing? I'm guessing this is your first time here. Thanks for coming. And if you got any questions at all, or just want to say random shit in chat, go ahead. It makes streams much more entertaining. Cheese and jalapenos. Oh, that reminds me. I could go for some jalapeno poppers right now. I haven't had jalapeno poppers in months. Pickrick, how you doing? Hello everyone, just picked up some food from the chippy myself. Yes, chippy! For the Americans, a chippy is a fish and chip shop. That XY plate looks way more sophisticated. Yeah, it is. So we're not using all the features that it has. Let me bring you back over to the webcam. Ugh, everything's all mixed and matched. So a lot of these features are kind of nice to have, but you don't necessarily need to have them. Like all these counter pockets here, you don't need them necessarily. They just make XY tramming a lot easier to do. And I'm talking about XY perpendicularity. So in these pockets rest pins. I'll get some pins out for you. I'll give you a demonstration. These pins fit? No, those are oversized. Where are my pins? There's a lot more pins in V2 and V1.6. Actually, now that I think of it, there were no pins at all in the 1.5, were there? Were there any pins in V1.5? I don't know. So yeah, effectively, there's a bunch of pins that sit over here, and these press up against the carriages. So the carriages would normally sit around here. So you'd have a countersunk bolt that would press up against the pin would press up against the carriage, and that would help with the tramming. So that's how that works. The holes in the center here, so this is a universal plate. This works with V1.6, Milo, and Miley. So these holes in the center are for Miley because you don't have, the carriages are on top of the X assembly rather than underneath. So you don't need these holes if you're doing Milo. Same with these two holes, this one and the last one over here. You don't need these if you're doing a V2 build, but they're all in the same plate. It just makes it easier. Look at that beast. Like it. Yeah, I was happy with it. Bores are a bit weird. I don't know what it is. I think it's a cam issue. It's definitely not an accuracy issue because the plate is accurate to within 0.08 millimeters across all dimensions that I could measure. But the bores kept coming in undersized. I was using an M3, a 3mm end mill at the time, which yeah, you can argue that that is going to cause some deflection, but I did have lots of finishing passes. I haven't actually checked to see if this will fit yet, so this could either be a really long stream or a really short stream, depending on how good my machining skills are. Also, hi Trevor, hope you're doing well. Where are my manners? I finally got this place cleaned up of all the bolts and baggies and all that stuff, and yet then you guys make me stream again, and then everything gets dirty again. How dare you? How dare you all? Yeah, because the rails are already trammed in on the y-axis, I'm not going to worry too much about doing all the extra stuff that we normally would do with the pins, because I don't really need them. I'm working tired and listening to the news, so I got excited to see a new stream. Yeah, it's always exciting to have a new stream. Not because I'm worth watching, mostly because it's nice talking to you guys. Like bringing my hobbies to work. Nice. Yeah. When I worked my old job, dinner time was around about the same time that the streams. So I used to work a job that was 12 hours actually on site and then another hour there and an hour back. And because we were working with kids, we had dinner around 5 or 6, depending on what shift you were on. And I used to watch Nero's streams of V1.5 and help out during the stream. Like there's a stream where where one of his streams where he's doing V1.5, and I'm on stream with him, I'm talking to him. That was from work. Is there a picture of the Miley? There isn't. There is a picture on the announcement page of the Discord, but what I can do is just show one to you. Now this one's a little bit disheveled because I've been stealing parts from it. Ugh. And all that stuff, but you'll get the gist. Ugh. There you go, that's Miley. So instead of having the X table move left and right, it's just the platform that moves left and right. Z-axis stays the same, Y-axis stays the same between Milo and Miley. It's a belt drive, but it's a one-to-one belt drive. The only reason it's belt drive is to keep the overall footprint smaller, because it means you can get away with a smaller enclosure if you wanted to, or you can build an enclosure into the bed. Oh, God. Brisket, why aren't you in your bed today? This isn't like you. This isn't like you. So, yeah, no picture of Miley, but you can look at that. There is a picture on the announcements one, but that's the same machine as in that photo. Also, anyone catch the rat rig announcement? Again, gonna be one of those things where I ask you something, I want your opinion on it before I say any of my opinions on it. I want to see what people are talking about with it. So far, this is all looking pretty good. Although, I messed something up. I gotta take all the screws out. No. So they announced, will 2.0 require additional strength training? 2.0 is about the same weight as 1.5 was, but you've got to remember V2 doesn't have the electronics box. Also, I've been struggling for so long with some firmware issues with the ball screws. I've been struggling so long with the ball screws. They just weren't outputting enough torque. They were skipping on rapid movements, this, that, and the next thing. It turns out I had Stealth Chop enabled. I don't remember enabling Stealth Chop in RepRap firmware, but it happened somehow. So now that that's done, I can use my touch probe, and I can use the tool probe, because up until now, like the Z-axis plate I did a few weeks ago was all manual. What is Stealth Chop? So TMC drivers, so like 2209s, 5160s, 2160s, which is what we use on Milo, have something called Stealth Chop, which is just a kind of quick way of chopping up the signal, the power that goes to the stepper motors, so that they become more quiet. You often see them on 3D printers and things like that in low torque environments. The issue with them being more quiet is they have they lose torque quite a lot. They use quite a lot of torque. So normal configurations have it so it's there's a Stealth Chop threshold. So it's quiet up until you need a certain amount of torque, and then it will go into something called spread cycle, and spread cycle is kind of the default full torque power of the machine. But for some reason it wasn't going into spread. No, it's not the same as microstepping. Microstepping is cutting up full steps into smaller steps. This just makes the motors quieter. I saw the rat rig electronics enclosure, and I was simultaneously really good for a hobby CNC, but painful to see someone who works with professional CNC. Yeah, that was a thing. It was one of the things. Again, I'm not going to comment too much until we figure this out, until I get more opinions from people. That 1.6 will be heavier than with the triple stack FMJ. Yes. The triple stack FMJ. There's not anything on this planet that won't be heavy. That Z-axis has its own gravity right now. It's huge. I have 3 CL57T drivers, and I have no idea how to set them. I can't help you there, bud. I use pretty much exclusively TMC drivers. Right. If you're wondering why I had to take all the screws off, it's because there's a little dowel that fits inside here, inside the nut, and it also indexes up against a hole in the a pocket in the plate. And that's just so that you can drive it, but also maintain a little bit of, you can have oversized holes for the attachment point. The rat rig load didn't load for me. The rat rig load didn't load for me this morning, but apparently it isn't on the US site yet. The form factor looks from... Yeah. So that's one thing I can talk about. We did have a little bit of a thing, like a talk about the form factor and how similar it was to Milo back in the day. And Ratrig did the right thing after talking to them. And they do reference us. They do actually reference us. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that bit. It's normally a bunch of dip switches, Trevor. Normally it's a bunch of dip switches, and the dip switches tell you what microstep settings you have. I'm going to lose this slightly loose. I don't understand microsteps and how to... You don't tune microsteps. So all a microstep is, so you have... Ooh, let's get a stepper out. Now, when you have a stepper motors have predefined poles. So if you kind of move one about, you'll see it kind of feels a bit... Why is that on? Don't want webcam on. It feels a bit jerky. Every time it kind of clicks into place, that's one full step, right? What microstepping does is it quickly turns on each pole. So instead of going straight to the next full step, it kind of hovers between two steps. And the higher that microstepping number is, the more resolution you can technically get between the two. But it's at a cost of torque. So if you put your microstepping too high, you lose a lot of torque. Generally between 8, 16, and 32, which are the common denominations for it, is where most machines, be them 3D printers or CNC machines, will land. But other than setting it, you don't need to tune it. It's not something you have to mess around with too much once it's set. Most firmwares will adjust steps per millimeter. Sometimes you have to mess around with that as a setting, but most firmwares will just adjust them based off of what your microstepping is set to anyway. Jormungand's not here today, and I'm sad. I'm sad. I don't have my clock monkey. He's not my clock monkey. He's not my clock monkey. That was rude. That was rude. My steppers are like 460 ounce inch. Fucking hell. Those are massive compared to the ones we have. Top of my head, I remember most of the Milo ones are like 145 ounce inch. I went overboard. No. Just be careful. So what are you actually planning to do with those big steppers? I'm assuming you're not doing a Milo. Hey Dave! How you doing, bud? That's why I was wanting ball screws. This is a debate that goes on all the time. What do you think you're going to achieve from ball screws? And I'll tell you whether or not you're actually going to achieve it. I'm doing a Milo. Oh, cool. Cool. I think I'll destroy the lead screws. No, not at all. Not at all. Those lead screws can take a lot of beating. You'll be fine. You're more likely to destroy the ball screws, I think, because you're spinning them at a higher RPM to get the same feed rate. I just remembered a fact that I hate about this. This wouldn't be an issue if I installed these in the right order. But I'm going to have to take all the rails off and the screw off. Just remember that. I remember the video you made, cleared up and oh, cool. I'm glad some people liked it. Yeah. I forget that the way this is installed is more like Ray's method. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the screws off and the rails off, which means that I might as well do everything else. I got cut off. Igor cut off. You need to follow the instructions. Yes, I need to follow the instructions. On the bench, burning solder, but wanted to at least stop by and say and wave. Oh, thanks, Shami. Thanks for coming, bud. I appreciate it. Oh, Shami, I still need to send you that stuff. Still need to send you that stuff. I'm just so dyslexic and ADHD, I forget to do things sometimes. Yesterday, I finally ordered the kit. Nice, dude. Nice, dude. I saw the donation as well, by the way. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It always helps. It really does help. If you aren't aware, everything that we do here is community supplied or community funded. If you do want to support the project at all, there are some links down at the bottom for a Patreon and for a PayPal. Choose whichever one you feel like donating to. You don't feel pressured like you have to, but it does help the project directly. And also, whilst we got you, like the smash button. smash that like button, or whatever Nero says nowadays. I need to come up with my own, as gimmicky as it sounds, I need to come up with my own like catchphrase for that, because I feel like that one is specifically Nero's, and no one can steal it. Also, Igor, make sure you post lots of updates about it, bud. All right. At least we can test one thing whilst we're here. Right. Well, that moves smooth. Perfect. All right. Okay. Now, if you're wondering why I'm saying I have to take everything off, it's because the X and Y axes, the initial install of the rails and screws are meant to be done without them being attached to the extrusions at all. And the whole point behind that is mostly just to get alignment correct at the very beginning. I forgot about that fact because it's been like 3 months since I started doing this project, and another like 2 months before that since I built any of the V2s. So I left the rails on initially because they were already aligned from this being taken off of my V1.5 build, but I'm going to have to undo all that work and set it up properly as if I was doing it normally, which is good because it means you guys can see how the alignment process goes. Bad for me because I had to undo a whole bunch of work that I did. It's almost as if I should have been more prepared for stream. You know, actually have all this stuff made before I started assembling it all. Glad to see I'm not the only one who used the drill to drive the axis. To be perfectly honest, because of the new anti-backlash nuts, you kind of need a drill to drive the axes. They're a lot stiffer than the old system was, and that's a good thing because it's a preset stiffness. People don't have to fuck about with it anymore. On V1.5, for those of you wondering, which is like 6 people, V1.5, you set the preload yourself, and because a lot of people didn't come from the CNC world, they didn't know how much preload was too much, how much preload was too little. With the new anti-backlash nuts, the preload is set for you. You don't need to worry about it. Yes, you can modify it by having thicker spring washers, but generally you don't need to. Okay, since people start talking about the rat rig mill, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad design. I think there's a few weak points on it, namely the Z-axis. I've talked about this before. I don't think you should be using a router style Z-axis on a mill, but it is what it is. What I've always disliked about rat rig, and it's nothing to do with their performance or the people behind it, it's the way that they show prices on their website and the way that they advertise prices. They always advertise prices for like bare bones kits. So the rat rig mill, once you actually price it up to, once you actually add all the bits that you need, to get it functioning and up to the point of what V1.5 is up to, it's 1,600 euros. Now, just to give you an idea, V1.5 kits started £1,200 / euros, depending on where you bought it from, and they're down to £8.99. And they're really vague about how the electronics is also laid out in the video that they do. A bit. I don't know how it's set up, because even on their website, the most basic most basic rat rig mill that they have is 700 quid plus 60 for the enclosure, plus I think it was like 100 for the electronics, but the electronics only includes a power supply and a controller board. You then have to buy yourself a router, because they don't supply the router. And even on their website, they say that it can occasionally do aluminium, rather than it being made for aluminium like all the bits at Millennium, or the machines that we make. Anyways, that's my opinion on it. Doesn't look like an awful machine. I think it's a bit pricey for what it is, but I think Rat Rig has enough of a, not hook, but enough of a good reputation within the community that it'll sell all right. But I don't see it as a competitor, to be completely honest. The Rat Rig is a pos? Or are you using the South African, the greatest word in the South African dictionary, which is puss? I'm not going to explain what that means. It's one of those things that you need to discover for yourself. Everyone says to stay away from the Rat Rig mill. Really? Yeah. I've heard similar stories. But then again, I don't want to be mean to Rat Rig, because they're nice guys. Nick's a nice guy. Nick's a really nice guy. When I was homeless, I was homeless for a while because I'd broken up with my girlfriend just after COVID, this, that, and the next thing. Nick was kind enough to reach out to me and say, look, I can't promise you a job, but if you do some work for us, then you'll get some kickback from it. It never ended up working out because I never had the time, because I was looking for a place to stay, stuff like that. But he was kind enough to do that. And I appreciate that kind of stuff. The guys at Rat Rig are good people. And I don't want to hear anyone say otherwise. I just don't like some of the stuff that some of the way that they run that company is all. They haven't had a good time as beta testers. I've been keeping an eye. I think the final product isn't really the same as what was released as a beta. Yeah, that's always the way, isn't it? Betas are betas for a reason, aren't they? Too much, and alphas exist. Yes, alphas do exist. They have just got into the habit. Was that the same with the V-Core 4? There's a screw stuck in one of these. There we go. Sweet. Right, so I will need to take apart the X-axis as well. I'm going to take a few bits off of here just to make my life a little bit easier. I didn't know they changed up. Yeah, my kit to upgrade the production state just arrived, but the beta process has been about 5 or 6 total strip downs and rebuilds due to changes. Yeah, I think that is a little bit of, you know, that's what being part of a beta is like. But the issue is you're selling a product at the end of the day. This isn't a beta that's going to it's going to stay internal or a friend of the project or this, that, and the next thing. This is a product that people are buying with their own money. I also just really don't like the way that RatRig markets things. That the community highlights video that they put out is just they're cringy. It's the best way I can describe it. I get that it's marketing. I get what it's for. I get that it needs to be done, and it's one of those devilish things that unfortunately people respond to that kind of stuff. Marketing is a whole thing, a whole science for a reason. But doesn't stop it from being really cringy to me. Again, the final V-Core is pretty decent. Has a bit of a niche with large format and IDEX. Youngand! He's arrived! Sorry, that was way too loud. Apologies. Youngand's here! Did anyone start a timer yet? No one started a timer yet, Youngand. We held it specifically for you. Also, just a heads up, the 5 spools that we were promised from West 3D are now done. So we still got Ambrosia from West 3D. So I'm linked down in the description. But we only got 4 left, 3 or 4 left from DMS here in the UK. So it's a UK only giveaway at the moment. Shammy, if you're around and you want to contribute something to the giveaway, let us know. Only joke, if you don't want to, that's obviously fine. 3 left from DMS here in the UK. So yeah, for now, it's a UK only giveaway. There are links down in the description. Win yourself a spool of Ambrosia filament from West 3D. It's good filament. Good filament. That's Ambrosia right there. Right there. It's weird when you're looking at camera. Yes, that's Ambrosia. I've been printing some stuff on the Trident earlier today. And it's actually really good. I might show you, actually. I can show you. It's nothing fancy. It's just the black ABS. But I've got some projects that I want to kind of start working on soon. Yeah, it prints pretty good. I'll go full screen for this. Prints pretty decent. I haven't had to tune this very much either. It kind of comes pretty ready to print. It is good filament. It is good filament. Jose, that reminds me, I actually need to tell, I forgot to tell Alan about your win last week, so I will get on that after the stream. My spool arrived a few days ago. Sadly, my Voron needs a connector resoldered, so it's going to be used for, not going to be used for another few days. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. As someone who has gone through hell and back to get my Voron working properly and consistently, I understand. But it will soon be turned into a pair of headphones. Nice. You doing hedemames? What's the smaller one that they do? They do hedemames and they do. Oh, they do another one. Alex, how you doing? Hey, haven't been around for a few streams. It's cool to see. That's going nice. Thanks, dude. Thank you very much. All right, X-axis is gonna hit. No. Whoops. 3D printer wise, did people see the Bontex INDX reveal? No. What is the? Is it a printer or is it an extruder? I'm guessing because Bontex, it's going to be an extruder. Right, I needed to take the X-axis off this anyway because I need to replace it with one that has the end stop switch on it. Are they called Minimames, the small ones? I'm wearing Hedemames right now, and I'm going to be building Minimames with the... Oh, yes, so they are Minimames. Oh, nice. Yes, I really want to build a pair. I can't spare the funds at the moment. I do want to do some... Who are the guys who make... They make a kit, a 3D printed kit for speakers. Because I really wanted to get into... I just want a pair, a decent pair of good speakers for my TV and my whole TV setup. So I can have people around and not have to rely on TV audio. And or like an Alexa Bluetooth thing for music. I just want to be able to use.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
She's awoken. I've awoken the Kraken. It looks like a tool changer system where the extruder attaches to a minimal filament path. The kits take so long to ship, so I self-source my second pair. Fair enough. For the Hedemames, not the kit you're talking about. Okay, cool. Index is it called the Index? I'm guessing it's called the Index. Is a tool changer system-ish thing. Cool. Yeah. Tool changers just seem to be one of those things that everyone's popping up. Deposition sound, those are the guys. And yes, I know the common wisdom is normally to just go on Facebook Marketplace or whatever and get a set of old surround sound speakers. I get that that is like probably the easiest barrier to entry because it's cheaper as well a lot of the time. But I want to build speakers. I want speakers that I can put designs on and stuff. Sometimes the only reason you need you want to build something is because you want to build it, not because it's the most performant. Sometimes, not all the time. Full use mills, gantry up. Yeah, suppose. Yomangand, I think it's been long enough. You want to put a timer on for me? Put 20 minutes up for me. We'll do a giveaway in 20 minutes. Timer has 3 minutes left. Yeah, restart it. Sorry, I didn't realize you had another timer going. Right. You know, I thought the stream was going to be a quick one. I thought, you know, it's just the plate, right? It's going to be an hour at most. It's going to be a quick install because all the rails are already trammed in. This, that, and the next thing. But no. No. I now have to disassemble half of my Milo because I did things in the wrong order. Don't you just love streaming? Don't you just love having everything go wrong all the time? It's great. And then people being able to watch you whilst you make mistakes and then judging you. It's, oh, no better thing in the world. Things usually never go to plan. Exactly. But at least if you're doing all the development behind closed doors, no one watches you whilst it goes wrong. Ah. Didn't think of that, did you, Jose? Live demos must be recorded before being shown. Yes. I just need to keep my space clear of piles of DIY materials for long enough to actually run one. Yeah, nice. When are you going to start streaming again, Dave? I still need to give you the details for the DMS YouTube channel. Oh, these are coming out anyway, so. Right, I need to say this because I want to reuse the heat inserts, but we won't do that now because I don't need them right now. Yeah, half of the battle of any of these hobbies is just keeping your shit clean. Who knows, man? To be honest, I was thinking of merging 3DPNMe and DMS. I don't have time for both, and it seems silly to try and get viewers for both. Yeah, that's fair enough. And you probably have more viewers on 3DPNMe anyway. Site build. Yeah, I like site build stuff, but the thing is, I like a lot of YouTubers for their personality. And don't get me wrong, personality is always a thing when you're watching videos. Being entertained is half of the issue. But a lot of stuff that Zach does just makes me grind my teeth because, you know, it's either like he makes small mistakes that are, or he assumes things that shouldn't be assumed. Like stuff whenever he does anything with CNC, it just breaks my heart. But that's one of those things where, you know, if you're a person, especially a person who might be a little bit, maybe totally on the spectrum, then little things like that will just drive you crazy. The urge just to go full keyboard warrior. Hello from Finland. I was wondering, when will 1.6 and V2 be released? V2 is being worked on at the moment, around about mid-year. V1.6, this is kind of a live development environment, so this is a test version of the machine. Once this is done and confirmed, the process for actually getting it finalized takes anywhere between 4 and 6 months. But what you can do is, if you don't mind going up to V1.6, you can get yourself a V1.5 kit and then just upgrade it once it's done. All right, I'm doing the thing you're not meant to do, and I'm taking the carriages off. Don't do this, it's dumb. Honestly, pre-Milo, my CNC was Mach 3 plus LPT, no limit switches, no probe, def doing things wrong. Yeah. I think, if anything, Milo has brought the standard of what CNC machines should be up. Because everyone here knows my thoughts on the Print NC. Not the Print NC. Print NC is a good one. Print NC is a good project. I like the Print NC. If you want a router that's larger format, go Print NC. They make a good machine. The MP-CNC is the one I was talking about, that I don't like. They are awfully cheap at the moment. V2 will be easily 300 quid more, or at least, yeah. So I'm actually thinking it's probably going to be about 200 more than the original price of Milo, so about 1,400 in my head, 1,400, 1,500. But I'm not sure if that's going to include the electronics or not. But that's just kind of my head estimate. LDO could be completely estimating something completely different. Ask Jose. Jose knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh, and I will be the first to admit, I know I've been saying a lot about the rat rig mill and how I'm not too impressed with it. The CNC box, that was a good idea. If you're wondering where we got the idea to do an external box, it's from them. I am definitely going to make sure that, because it's kind of their idea, we're definitely going to attribute them. Although they'll be completely different setups, I still think we're going to attribute them, because that's it. I don't know specifics on price, however, prices on parts have gone up a lot on a lot of things. Yeah. Yeah. Trump tariffs. Tariffs are a thing that everyone has to deal with now. My apologies, Americans. It's really funny because he's put tariffs on the UK, and that's a scary thing when you got tariffs going. But he's put tariffs on steel production and aluminium production. Two things in the UK that we don't export very much of. Most of our aluminium and most of our steel comes from either China or the US. So the only thing that's happening is that one specialty blend of aluminium, plate or whatever, is going up in price. Normal aluminium's just not being affected. We only have one big steel manufacturer, and it's pretty much going bust every few years anyway. Exactly. Most of our metalworking industry in the UK is being propped up by the government anyway. And if anything, all the tariffs are going to do is give them an excuse to bump their prices up. Let's hope for Iceland that they won't be hit by aluminium tariffs. Does Iceland make aluminium a lot? Is that a big industry over there? I genuinely don't know. That joke might have gone straight over my head. Yeah. I will never ever design a workshop again that doesn't have places for me to put things down that aren't being in use anymore, because it's really annoying having lots of small places to put things. Iceland is the 13th largest aluminium producer on the planet. Jesus Christ. For such a relatively small country, for such a small country, it's that's impressive. I suppose they are in a fairly geologically unstable part of the world, so having lots of deposits of metals like that and stuff might be more common, I would suppose. Right, I need to get this right, because this may be an issue if I don't sort it out now. There's still a screw in one of these extrusions. Not extrusions, rails. There we go. Got it. Lots of cheap heat making smelting aluminium cheaper. Yeah, I suppose. You're going to send me on my next ADHD rabbit hole now. Do you think preheating aluminium with geothermal power saves a lot of money? So you're not necessarily bringing it up to melting temp, but preheating it to, say, whatever temperature you can get just through geothermal power without it being converted to electricity. And then you use the last bit of electricity to... Do you think that saves a lot of money? Kind of like what they do with powder printing laser SLA machines, where they preheat the polymer to like 150 degrees and then laser it. Switch eye looking good, Jakey boy. Your concept makes a lot more sense now. I'm looking at the details. Oh, cool. Yeah. I will not speak more of it. It's nothing to do with Millennium, by the way, guys. So don't ask. DMLS. DMLS? What's that? You mean DMS or DMLS? DMS is Desktop Machine Shop. It's a company I used to be part of. Dave in chat is part of it, and we supply the Milos from LDO in the UK. Well, he does. I'm not part of it anymore. Oh, direct metal laser sintering. The thing they preheat. Yeah, they do it with nylon SLA as well. It's not just metal. But yeah, it's the same concept. Yeah, all the same. Yeah, all the same thing. Lots of conversation going. This is what I need to get better at streaming, is to A, ignore messages that aren't for me, and B, try and track conversations a little bit better. Because I'll say something, and then because there's a delay for you guys, a small delay, I'll go on to another topic and just completely forget that people are going to be responding to the first thing I said. That's more about speed. It means you can trace way faster with the laser and reducing thermal stresses. Yeah, I think that's a thing for metal sintering, where it's a speed thing. I remember watching a Micron when Micronics, was it Micronics or Micron? I think it's Micronics, before they got taken up by Who did they get bought out by? Anyways, everyone remembers the Micronics one. The home SLA printer. Oh, it's the same for Palmer. Okay. I must be misremembering stuff then. Again, never ever take anything I say as gospel. Only take like some CNC stuff I say as gospel, because that's the field I work in. I suppose you could argue lower power laser can be used, which might save power. Yeah. I think we veered from the original thing I was talking about. I was talking about like high-scale aluminium manufacturing, like where you take bauxite and refine it down and smelt it down. I think we just went on to SLA because we're all nerds. Again, don't do this. Not without rail covers, at least. I'm guessing you're at work, Dave. If you're able to come and join the stream. Where's the screwdriver gone? Here's my screwdriver. But trust me, industry is all about dollar per hour. And speed is much more important regardless of how green they say they are. Yeah. Yeah, no. I know. DMS work at home. Cool. Yeah. Remember the bit I was talking about just now where I said I forget what I just said? Well, Jose, reading your last message out of context and with that fact has made my day. I lost my balls at home and doing that the other day is what he actually said in chat. My condolences, Jose. Luckily, touch wood, I haven't lost any lead screw, carriage balls yet. I don't tend to use the little spacers. Kind of find them a bit annoying, but they do provide a good thing, so I would still recommend people use them. I am just lazy. Right. So, the way this works, I have got carriages installed on this plate. I'm gonna give you an over-the-shoulder shot as well. I've got carriages installed on this plate. They are loose. They can move around. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other side, but the pins are gonna butt up against either side of this assembly, and they're going to force the carriage in the right direction. Now, the best way to do this is have enough pins for all 4 carriages on either side, and you do this all at once so that perpendicularity is ensured. The cheaper way to do it, the kind of middle ground, is to only do it on one side. So you do it on 2 on this side and then 2 on the other side, and that ensures perpendicularity. And then once the whole plate is installed back on the machine, then you can tighten the last 2 carriages down after the rails have been tightened. The cheapest way to do it is to only take 2 dowel pins and 4 screws and go 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 and tighten everything down as you go. That's a bit of a pain and can sometimes lead to a little bit of inaccuracy. But we're going to do the kind of middle of the range way where we just use 4 carriages instead of all 8 carriages. That'll make sense more in a second. I had a lot of trouble with my XY on V1.5 and wound up accidentally switching rails and carriages. That didn't work mechanically, yeah. I eventually lost balls over a few dozen attempts at figuring out which carriages fit on which rails. Yeah, that's Yeah, what David is talking about is carriages are linked to rails. I haven't. The reason I'm not caring too much about which one's linked to which rail is because I fucked around with this too much in the past, and the carriages aren't on the original rails, so at this point it doesn't matter. But the carriages that come with each rail are tuned to that specific rail, and you shouldn't be moving them to a different rail. So say these two are linked to this rail, you shouldn't be using these two carriages on this rail instead. Sion! Sion's here! Sion is in chat. If you don't know who Sion is it Sion? Yeah, it's been a while since I heard your name. Is it Sion? If you don't know who Sion is, he runs a YouTube channel called Unexpected Maker. He does all kinds of weird electronic stuff that is too complicated for me to understand, but it does look hella cool. So say hello to him. And he's from a land down under. We need more Australians in the Discord. I recommend people mark the carriage and rail order, or to just get enough space to cope with leaving the rail on. Yes, agreed. Agreed. Yep, no need for shout. Sion, it's all good, dude. I like having you around. I also do that for most people who come and join us. Oh, time's up. Perfect. So you have about 1 minute to enter for the Ambrosia Filament giveaway. It is UK only. Link is down in the description. It will take me about a minute to get everything set up on my end. So go, 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 go. So far, I have 5 responses. You've got some good odds today to win yourself a roll of filament. Right. 30 more seconds. Give or take a little bit. Also, Sion, how are you doing? How are you doing, bud? It's been a while since you did a video on your channel. I do try and watch them every now and again. They're just... they go over my head. This is why I have 9 Mile on the team, because 9 Mile understands this shit. And I don't. Right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the giveaway is closed. There are 6 people in the draw today. 6 people. And we will get up the wheel of names. So you've got some good odds today, folks. You've got some extremely good odds. Perfect. All right. Give yourself a little pray. Give yourself a little pat on the back. Or cross your fingers, cross your toes. Around and around the wheel goes. No way. Igor. Well done, dude. Congrats, congrats, congrats. You have just won yourself a roll of filament.
Workshop VOC levels are suboptimal.
How are the VOCs up? Sorry, my Alexa's being annoying. How are the VOCs up? Right, I am literally not printing in this room at the moment. It's probably coming from my chemical cabinet, though. Igor, well done, dude. Dave will contact you at some stage. I'll send Dave your email address. And yeah, we'll go from there. Finally. Finally. Trying to stay up to date on what's happening in the MM world. Fair enough. Well, what would you like to know? Oh, God. I'm listening to myself twice. I'm doing okay. I've been busy with not making any money. I've been visiting. Oh, that's fair. Literally shipped out your order this morning. Oh no! Oh no! Oh. God damn it. God damn it. It wasn't a ball, but it was a screw. Right, let's get back to this. Yeah, so, Sion, lots of stuff has been happening since last we saw you. V1.6 is coming out later this year, so if you want to upgrade Moo to... Milo's called Moo, by the way. If you want to upgrade Moo to V1.6, you can do that. If you want to build a whole new machine, you can build a V2. So is there still no planned upgrade path from 1.5 to 1.6, or has that changed? V2 is a new build. You can't build it with the V1.5 part. V1.6 you can. Reason being, V2 has too many upgrades and steps forward to be able to make it backwards compatible, but we also wanted to give you as many of the V2 features as possible, but keeping all like the extrusions the same, the screws the same, the rails the same, all that kind of stuff. There's a few changes, like the XY plate changes and the Z plates change. But you can mill those out on a V1.5. The thing you need to worry about is the Y-axis distance. V1.5 is 160 in the Y, and the plate is 150 wide in the Y. Okay, maybe it was V1.2 that had no path. Well, yeah, V2 has no upgrade path. It does have an upgrade path. It's just you could probably build V2 with all the V1.5 parts. It would just be awkwardly dimensioned. And getting new FMJs and stuff like that can be a pain. So what are the main advantages of 1.6 over there's a way cover on the Y-axis front. The Y-axis back doesn't have the way cover, but it does on V2. It has direct drive everything, so direct drive Z-axis instead of the belted Z-axis. It has God, it's loads of stuff that I'm forgetting. Oh, it has upgraded anti-backlash nuts. It has a better XY plate. There's one downgrade, and that's that your X-axis travel goes from 340, if I remember correctly, to 300 flat. But that's about it. You can also pick up a 1.5 cheaper now, then upgrade to 1.6. Yeah. If the V1.6 allows for, you can't really do it on the V2, but the V1.6, you can stack FMJ plates on the side of it, like we're doing. So we've got a triple stack going on, and one of those FMJs is a steel one. So we've got two aluminium on either side and a steel plate on either side. So if you're wanting to cut something like steel, I'd probably actually stick with the V1.5 platform. But then you get all the disadvantages of V1.5. And most people aren't doing steel. I will probably build 1.6, then see if I can eventually sell it to fund V2. Cool. Okay, so if my V1.5 is working fine, there's really no need to upgrade a part from the Y cover. Yeah, the Y cover is kind of, because of the Y cover was kind of hard to integrate, so you need to have the kind of side extensions, which requires the new motor mount and this, that, and the next thing. So if you're gonna put the skirts, the way cover on, you might as well do the rest of the Y-axis. It's mostly quality of life stuff, to be honest. Performance-wise, they'll probably be the same amount of performance. But yeah. If you're happy with your V1.5 as it is, that's fine. It's the same with people who are still rocking like a Voron V1.8. If it hasn't stopped working, no need to upgrade. But I will say that if you're going from no kit at all to wanting a kit, buy a V1.5. They work fine. Upgrade to V1.6 later down the line. They are nice and cheap right now because LDO's trying to get stock out of the way for when V2 drops. But I still think it's a good machine. And if you're on the fence, buy V1.5. By build, I mean upgrade. If a Voron hasn't stopped working, it's because it hasn't been upgraded enough. Yes, yes. It's like modding Skyrim. If Skyrim doesn't crash within the first hour, you haven't loaded enough mods. It's just the way it is. Same with Vorons. I don't do enough milling to justify upgrading it. What I'm really waiting for is Milling Machine's 5-axis version. So we are planning. It's very much in the early planning stages, probably pre-planning stages. To add a 4th axis, 5-axis doesn't really make sense at a hobby level. Cool. I've said this before. The jump you get from 4-axis to 5-axis isn't as big as the jump you get from 3-axis to 4-axis. Well, I completed that stock by just having a shit PC. I also practiced the Jenga school of customization. Yes. The thing is, I went on like I started this year going, the bamboos are great because I don't need to fuck with them. And then I started work on the Trident. And the Trident was so much fun. I forget how much fun it is just to fuck around with printers. So I've now gone straight down the... I'm now of the opinion that you have one printer to fuck about with, and you have the other printer to actually do the stuff that you need to. I still struggle more with ABS on my P1S than on the V3. See, I heard that. I've heard lots of people struggle with it. I never struggled with ABS on the V1S. It doesn't matter though, because you know what? Bamboo can suck it. I have pre-ordered one of the... I sold a... what's it called? A table saw that I had in storage that was still in its box. I sold that and I decided to treat myself, and I pre-ordered the Elegoo clone for P1S. Technically, it's the Elegoo clone for the X1C, but it's really not. They say it is, it's not. Right, those are on. I need dowel pins. I also need some countersunk M5s. You always need N+1 printers. Yes, I genuinely don't know where this new printer's going. Because I've got the switch wire working now. I did some prints on the switch wire earlier today, and they came out great. So the switch wire is now back in service. The Trident is back in service. The switch wire conversion is still out of service, but I like keeping this thing around for nostalgic reasons. So I don't have the space for another printer, but I really wanted the Elegoo one to see what it was like, so I bought it, and it was only like 270 quid. I'm bad with money, okay. Convinces a cold room and bed max temp just doesn't quite cut it on the P1S. Bed max temp is 110 on the P1S. I mostly print. I get the room thing. This room is so hot when I've got even just one printer going. It's so warm in here. In fact, Alexa, what's the workshop temperature?
The workshop temperature is 27.5 degrees.
Yeah, 27 degrees in here at the moment, and this is after an hour of not having. This is an hour since my print finished on my Trident. My Trident gets up to 71, 72 degrees. But yeah, you could almost print ABS. You could almost print ABS in this room unenclosed. Yeah, it's hot in here. Luckily, I'm from East Africa, so I can tolerate it a little bit more than most people can. If you ever wonder why I get more and more sweaty on stream as time goes on, that's because it's hot in here. And the audio goes out the window the moment I open a window, so yeah. You should see what it's like when I started printing all the bits out for this build. And I had the Trident running, I had the two P1Ss running, and I had another printer running, which I since sold. It was like 33 degrees in here. It was hot. Brisket loves it. He loves being in the warm. But I do worry sometimes that it's too hot in here for him. Where are my countersunk M5s? English summer, but still. Yeah. See, I am actually, as a man who has grown up in 40-degree summers, I am actually in agreement that British summers are worse. They're worse. They're worse in every way. And I will tell you now, and it's not to do with the fact that it is hotter or it feels hotter or anything like that. It's because British buildings are not built for summer. They're not built for airflow. They're built for drab, dreary winters. And things like infrastructure for air conditioners, non-existent. Whereas back home in East Africa, everyone had an air conditioner. And I think Europe has better things in place as well for it. Because, oh, where are they all gone? Europe has windows that you can put a membrane over and run one of the rolling air conditioning units. Can't. A lot of the windows in the UK you can't do that on. They just don't support it. So I have a rolling air conditioning unit, and I have to seal up with a bit of plastic the window just to get it sealed enough that all the cold air doesn't escape. And to be fair to East Africa, I did live on the coast and we get a breeze all year round, except for a couple weeks in winter. I've cut a hole in the side of my house for the roller units. Nice. Again, it's not really an option for me. I hope these are long enough. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use the cheap method. Yeah, they should be long enough. Where are my screwdrivers gone? There they are. Alright, the trick behind this is you don't want to put any pressure on that dowel until both sides have the dowel in place. Because otherwise you can just be shifting it in an awkward direction and it will never get back. It will never be straight. Don't they open windows in the summer? Yeah, a lot of windows. I've opened windows in this flat in the summer, but they're not designed with airflow in mind. So oftentimes, like, it just doesn't work out very well. Whereas Kenyan buildings have big doors. Right, this is gonna sound weird. The main doors leading in and out of my parents' place is about this door times 2 high times 2 or 3 wide. And the whole idea is that you're creating a huge air tunnel through the building. And that's been a part of colonial built houses for a long time in East Africa. If you ever go to Zanzibar, just off the coast of Tanzania, we call those doors Zanzibar style doors because of that exact reason. They funnel air through the houses. There are moments in time where I am sat in my bedroom in 30-degree heat and I have to put a jacket on because the wind is so violent on the inside of the house. Yeah, I can't just punch a hole in this place, I'm afraid. Again, it goes back to my stupid contract. I own 75% of the place, but my real estate agent owns the last 25%. They own the outside of the building. I own the inside of the building, so I can't make any modifications to the outside of the building. All right, I need to move this screw out the way a little bit. Normally you would tune these screws after you'd done all the alignment stuff, but I don't have that luxury because I'm dumb and I didn't follow my own instructions. There you go. 20C is too hot. 27 is death. Well, you can tell you live in a Scandi country. Yeah, no, hottest it ever got when I was growing up was one summer in like 2008 where we hit something like 48 degrees, and if you've ever been in the French school system, and yes, French school system, because I used to go to a French school in East Africa, they still make you do exercise when it's too hot. There's no such thing as too hot for class or for exercise like we have in the UK. Denmark is about the same climate as York or something. Yeah, I can imagine that. Except you get proper winters, you get decent snow. The UK has not had decent snow in a very long time. I think the last time was the Beast from the East, but I wasn't here for it. Cool. So, let's get the webcam involved. So, if you look on, I've left this side open because I don't have enough screws to do the whole thing. But if you see, the countersink pushes up against the dowel as it tightens up, and it stops it from spinning. Now this is actually loose on the other side. There's enough pressure here that you can't even wiggle it. All right? You gotta be very careful that you're not putting too much pressure on any of these one screws, because that will just twist it. So just light pressure. The moment you feel any resistance, stop. And then you do the same thing on the other side, and it'll fix itself out.
Workshop air quality is suboptimal.
I get it.
Filters on.
I get it, Alexa. I'm breathing in the equivalent of 10 days worth of heroin. Ugh. God. Rue the day I ever get monetized on YouTube, because I will never, ever make any money. Alexa telling me to stop farting. I have had it where Brisket has farted so badly in this room that it set my Alexa off. I have actually had that, like no joke. Right, do the same thing on the other side now. We haven't had a decent snow-filled winter in DK for 15 years. Yeah, Jesus. Well, there are no ski resorts. No, I'm not blaming the dog this time, but I have had it where he has set it off. And trust me, he's half bulldog and he flaunts it. That dog can clear a room. Isn't that right, buddy? He's not very good with staying in his bed. He kind of just leaks out of it over time. Denmark is the flat. This is showing how little I know about Denmark. I did not know. I genuinely thought, okay, these must be Viking lands. They must be full of mountains and full of tall peaks and that kind of stuff. I did not think that Denmark was a flat country. But I must be wrong. Unless you're just gaslighting me into believing what you say. I'm gullible. I'm very gullible. It's the sticky up bit above Germany and east of GB. Yeah, I know where I know where Denmark is. I just don't know anything about the terrain of Denmark. You know, you think of Germany, and you think the Black Forest, you think Berlin, you think Bavaria, lots of open fields, stuff like that. You think about the Netherlands and in particular Holland, and you go, oh, windmills, big fields, prairies, stuff like that, and bits of land that are actually below the ocean. You think of France, and you think north of France, you got Paris. You think south of France, you got wide open bits, the French Riviera, all that stuff. Denmark, I think Vikings. Think of New Zealand, but above sea level. Sorry, not New Zealand. NL? NL? Jose Rivera. Ah, man, yeah, I have an English bulldog. And he clears the house. Yes. So Brisket is half collie, which is a sheepdog, a working dog, and the other half is British bulldog. So he is both smarter than me from the collie, and stubborn from the bulldog side, and farts a lot. Great. Think of the Netherlands. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, you've taught me something new and amazing today, Jormungand. Right. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. I'm going to need M3 by 10s. So, and I'm going to need to pack away a bunch of these screws. Right. So at this point, now that everything is done and everything should be aligned in the ways that we want them to be, we have to tighten down each carriage, and then we just remove the pins that we just had installed because we don't need them anymore, and they would bump into things otherwise. So we tighten down all the carriage bolts. They should be aligned. Now, I'm only going to tighten down the ones that have the pins, obviously. I'm going to leave the other side untightened. So which side has the pins? This side has the pins. All the mountainous like Viking lands were piss poor in the Iron Age because they had no real farmland. Denmark is basically just farmland. So when you think Vikings, that's quite apt. Yeah, that makes sense. Because for a while, Denmark was like the Viking capital. It was the Viking nation, wasn't it? It was basically the... Was Harald Hardrada from Denmark? Oh. Harald Hardrada. So he's more apt to British history. So 1066, lots of shit happened in 1066, but one of them was that the Dane lord, Harald Hardrada, lost a battle which lost a battle earlier in I think it was the same month even, which allowed the ruling monarch, the guy who came out on top, who was a British guy, I forget who it was exactly, but because he was weakened against the Danes, I need to remember this. This is the stuff that lots of people learn in school, but because I'm not really British, I don't know a lot of it. But yeah, Harald Hardrada. He was Norwegian. Oh. Dano-Norwegian history is a bit intertwined. We're called the Twin Kingdoms for a reason. Ah, cool. My really bad history lesson is really educating people. Right. Okay. So, rails in. Oh, actually, no, not rails in. I need to take out all the pins first. All the pins and screws. Now, normally the screws do get reused. I'll try and reuse them, but these are slightly shorter than the ones that are actually spec'd for it, because I don't have the proper size ones for some reason. I thought I had a ton of them, but I don't. So normally they get reused. The pins don't get reused, but the nice thing about having loads of pins around after the build is that you can use them for work holding and registering things. So none of these bits go to waste. That was one of the priorities when we were designing the V2 plates. Looks like a lot of the Europeans are starting to go to bed. It's okay. Don't worry, stream will still be going. If no stream today, stream tomorrow. Oh yeah, I do have a new job-ish. I'm in the middle of the interview process for the job. And it's a lot of open days and stuff like that. If I do get the job, we will have to see how often streams continue. I'm gonna say stream at least once a week, because I want to, because I actually really enjoy these streams nowadays. But they may be a little less frequent than normal. It's Friday, not nearly time to go to bed. Then why are my viewership numbers going down, Jormungand? God! No, I'm joking. If you haven't liked the stream so far, remember, there's a big like button for a reason. Hey, Thomas! You're still on, had to work late. Oh, cool. Well, it's not that late over here. And it's Friday, as Jormungand said. God damn it. I forgot to tighten one of these. Oh, no, wait, never mind. Never mind. Wrong side. I haven't forgotten to do it. Cool. Right. Now, there is a magnetic piece that needs to go on the front of this, and this reuses some of the screws that we were using for the pins. And that's just the mounting point, the anchor point, the magnetic anchor point for the way covers. What, you're going to work for a living? So overrated. Oh, I wish. I did say when I started these streams that if I couldn't make enough money doing the streams and through the project, I would have to go back to work. And unfortunately, we've got to that point. Although I will say that having people support the channel has meant I can extend how long I procrastinate actually going to work for. So that's been nice. The more procrastinating I do on that, the more time I had to stream. What is it? I'm gonna flip this over for now. Does this fit? Will these fit? No, I need longer ones. Cheat code, please. Oh, I love cheat codes. I would love a life. I'd love a cheat code for life. If only it was so easy. Do you ever think about this? Do you ever think that your brain has the full-on capacity to be able to make you feel happy? To be able to make you feel happy about the things that you're doing. It could just do that, right? There's no debating it. Your brain could just go, bam! You're full of serotonin, you're happy. It could make you feel fulfilled. It could, but yet, it chooses to make you feel depressed. Fucking brains, man. Right, I found some slightly longer ones. Not got all 4, but 3 will have to do. There's really no loading that happens on this path at all, so 3 screws will be fine. What are you doing? Why do you not go in the hole? Said the preacher to the monkey. Can't believe I said that. Why the fuck did I just say that? What on earth is wrong? There we go. Now it's going in. Demonetized. I was never monetized to begin with. It's too early for these jokes. What are you talking about? It's like 9 o'clock. Even worse. Even worse than Jormungand. It's later there than it is here. So it's definitely not too early. Okay, I'm not drunk enough for these jokes. Well, that's a you problem. I say that like I drink like a fish. I don't drink almost at all. I don't mind a drink. I just don't personally do it very often. Cool. Right, now I can finally get to the rails. Finally. My wife uses most of my beer for making cake. Oh. Oh no. That's what you get for being married. It's your fault. You're the one who wanted my to become ours. No, I'm joking, by the way. Absolutely kidding. Just make sure she's not next to you when I'm saying this. Nice, 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 nice. No comment. Oh yeah, pleading the fifth, as every husband has been doing for many generations. Right. That's what I need to do. I need to put these rails back on. Do I have? I do. As a just in case. There we go. These do get you in the ballpark of having the right position, but there we go. Slight adjustments are gonna happen. They do get you in the right ballpark. Sorry, this is the loose side, so this should just slide in. Giggity. How many balls are gone forever on your floor? None. I have never dropped a ball on stream. And I've only dropped one, but that was very early on when I was doing V1.5 still, when we were doing the LDO kit for V1.5. I've never dropped a ball other than that one time. Oh no, touch wood. Touch wood. Oh Lord of CNC, forgive me for I have sinned. Right. That's the static side done. That was the hardest one. Boom! I thank you. I thank you very much. Thank you. No balls were lost in the making of this stream. Hell yeah. Oh, I need to tighten these up first. No, I can do that on... Getting all over the place. I'm all over the place, as usual. Stick this on here, and then we can adjust it afterwards. Sweet. All right. Use this just to make sure that the rails are in the right place. There we go. Watch the master. I just don't overdo it. That's literally the thing is, people try and push and push and push and go, oh, we can just about make it. Don't. If it feels like it's bad, if it feels like anything is like slightly off, stop and get yourself one of the rail carriage things. It's really not that hard. Reminds me I need new rails for my Voron. How is it 2.4 build that you're working on at the moment, Yorm? Right. I need a pokey thing. Pokey thing. That's not the right pokey thing. Here's the right pokey thing. Brisket is just falling further and further out of his bed and making it a lot harder for me to stand anywhere. He's not even in his bed anymore. He's got 1 foot in his bed. 350 2.4 plan is to equip with 7 toolhead stealth changer, but then the index showed up. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm not that interested in tool changes, to be honest. But then again, I'm like the least creative guy in that regard. I need a bigger screwdriver. Right, there we go. I just wanted it because I have a friend who bought a Prusa XL with 2 tool heads, and Warren 2.4 plus 7 tool heads is cheaper than a base XL. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. How many parts do we still have to see until the end? Until the end of the complete assembly. I'm not rushing you. Basically, I need to make the last Z-axis plate, and we'll be done. I need to finish this, make the last Z-axis plate, but I need to order some material to do that. Once I've got the material, it shouldn't take too long. Yeah, we might be finished by next week. I need to figure out if A, the budget allows for me to buy material at the moment, because yes, as is usual, budget's always tight. And then I do stupid things like buy 3D printers. Where's my drill at? Here's my drill. Are we going to see chips of this before you give it away? No. Probably not. I have said multiple times during these streams that this is more a test fit than an actual test because of how many parts are similar to other platforms that we have tested, other than a kind of other than like a preliminary axes check to make sure that everything triggers properly and stuff like that. It's probably not going to be something I mill on. It's more to do with the fact that I don't have another spindle, I don't have another VFD, so I wouldn't be able to test it anyway. There's a small chance that it might happen, but I need to be able to fund the electronics box, and right now there's no funds for the electronics box. If I can't fund the electronics box, well then there's not going to be any electronics on this, is there? Why are these not lining up properly? I don't understand. They were set before. Now they're all out of whack. Must be from when I took them off. Nearly lost some balls. Nearly lost some balls. Alright. Don't really have a great place to put this. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of the rails back off. And I'm just going to use that as a marker to mark where these should be. I should really, yeah. If I've got this off, I'll put some, because currently I only have inserts in every other screw. I should really have one in every screw. In every other hole, sorry. Whilst I've got it off, I'll do it properly. Just need experience fully some. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. If I say, I appreciate the idea, and to everyone who has donated, it has been really good, and it has helped me continue to do small things, but the donations that we're getting from the community are very small in the grand scheme of things. Again, I appreciate every single one that gets done, but we're not getting a community, that much community support until we get a little bigger. Because how much is the SL3 VFD plus plus the LDO spindle anyway? Like $400? It's not cheap. I would love to do it, but at the moment it's on my dime. Right. Right, this should be a little bit easier now. Cool. Right. Let's go back and put this rail back on. Pretty sure I've got a spindle spare. Oh, sweet. There we go. Yeah, you're not wrong. I was wrong, Jose. I guess miracles do come true sometimes. Ooh. Right, and just need to tap this in a little bit. Tappy tap 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 tap. There you go. Couple are seated properly now. Or is it? No, it's not. It's not seated properly. Woo! There we go. Can't find the whole build, but at least halfway there. Well, on the big items. Siler board. I don't have a siler. I had a siler, but I had a pre-production siler. The motors on that one burnt up because I wasn't cooling them properly. The drivers on them burnt up. So I could do a mock-up with it, but I can't do the actual build with it. I have a V1 siler actually. There you go, spindle and siler done. Sweet. Okay, so right. I have a 48 volt supply here. I've got a 48 volt supply here, which was originally in there. Okay, so that's the 48 volt supply down. Contactor. I'll need to get another contactor and another 24 volt supply. We need 24 volt supply I can get because those are decently cheap. To be honest, it could probably be it could also be just a 12 volt supply. It doesn't actually need to be 24 volts. It has no real performance impact. crowdfund $100 and I can do VFD. Dave will understand this. Dave, what's 17.5 times? What's 17.5 divided by 100? We'll have to do extrusions and panels as well, and those will probably be expensive, the biggest expenses. Panels, definitely. Just over 4, nearly there. Okay. Okay, we can do all the electronics we can do, all the internals we can do. Extrusions will probably cost 60, somewhere between 60 and 80 quid. Jose, why? You've given me hope now. I didn't need more work. But thank you. Okay, so VFD, spindle, siler, 48 volt supply is here. He's buy the 24 volt supply, buy the extrusions. Oh, Jose, to be fair, the spindle isn't him helping, it's more him. It's something else. It's something else. He's not giving them away for free. Put it like that. But the V1 siler he's giving away for free, definitely. Yeah. Panels will be the most expensive thing, and panels in the UK are not cheap. I've got a big section of DIN rail that I've had for I bought like 5 meters of DIN rail because it was the only size we could buy from RS Components. Spindle and siler are free. VFD is new from stock, hence deal we have struck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's looking possible. It's looking possible. Okay. In that case, if that's the case, then what I'll do is I'll hold off, because we were going to give this away just as it was, just as a structural build. So probably what I'll probably do is I'll give it away as a complete build. Whether or not we see chips on it is still something to be debated, because I would need to take everything out of Casa just to put this machine in and then take it straight out again. And I have enough machines to store in here as it is. If the other plan goes panels for... If the other plan goes to plan... What? I'm so confused. I want my sticker on it. Yeah, you'll get your sticker on it. Definitely. I don't actually... I want my sticker on it, but I don't actually own any stickers. Will Casa hold the noise? Casa is pretty good at noise. at reducing the noise. It's still loud, but it's definitely good at reducing it. We're talking about an electronics enclosure, not the enclosure. The electronics enclosure is kind of just a box. Have a look at what RatRig's putting out. That's basically what we're planning on doing. I got a guy who can make you stickers. Can he make me some stickers too? I got to see whether or not we can do like t-shirts through the website or something. Should be able to, because it's just is it Wix? Is it Wix or a Squarespace? I think it's a Squarespace site. We should just be able to do something through like Spreadshirt. But the thing is, will people buy those t-shirts with the Millennium logo on them, etc., etc.? If the other plan goes to plan, I'll have an unused panel set from LDO printer kit that will need a new home. Yeah, suppose we could get that to work. I suppose that's a possibility. Probably be good for LDO as well if we can reuse panels from Vorons. I know Thunder Keys has an online shirt store. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have a look into it. It's monetizing at the moment. It's just getting enough money to do all the shit that I want, that the project needs. But that's a dreary subject. That's a subject that we talked about before. I'm gonna end this here. We'll talk about source. We'll talk about all this when it actually comes to time to do the sourcing, and not before. Let's finish this build first. Sweet. Right, now the whole thing flips over and we do the same thing again, but on the x-axis this time. Can you say X? Ow. Oh, my back just cracked. Oh! Because we've still got to fund Atlas at the end of the day. Atlas is still going to be in need of funding. And I think we're at the point where LDO has funded enough, and it's probably going to be too much to ask them to continue funding, especially for Atlas, where it's a project that they probably won't make kits for because it's huge. I have talked to Jason a couple times on this. It's going to be way too big. They have kind of like a hard limit on the size of kits that they can do. The weight of kits, at least. I know a screw fell out. It was just because it was stuck between extrusions. Not important. Iconic Fab! How you doing, bud? Where have I heard that name from before? Where have I heard the name Iconic Fab from? I must have heard it from someone. Oh, how you doing, bud? Hope you're having a good day. And thank you for coming. But I do recognize that name. And it's going to bug me for the rest of the stream if you don't tell me where it's from. burning midnight oil almost. GMT2 plus. God. Yeah, I get into like weird headspaces like that. Like yesterday, there's a project that we haven't even announced yet. Heat inset press. That's where it's from. That's where it's from. Yeah, there's a project that we haven't even announced yet. I'm not going to announce it, but I was working on a lot of the CAD stuff for it yesterday, and I remember starting at 9 o'clock, stopping for like 2 hours to have dinner, and then suddenly it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was just so driven by that idea. And here's my issue. That's great. That's amazing. And I got lots of work done, but I can't control that. It's not something I can control. It just happens every now and again that I just get in the zone. Sounds like a nice, dangerous project. Hey, any project can be dangerous as long as you lick it enough. That's normal. If you love the trade, it gives more energy you're spending on it. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I just don't get in those moods very often. I think if you think about it, like most of Milo was probably most of V2 and V1.5 and pretty much every machine I've ever done was probably designed in like 10 sit-down sessions throughout a year. At least the majority of it was. I know the feeling. My zones keep getting distracted by stupid stuff like payment provider for the website going down. Oh God, I do not envy you. I do not envy you, Dave. Right. Hopefully, this gets done correctly. The first time, and then we'll have a completely assembled X and Y axis. Yeah, we might even put the Z axis on. How's Milo project moving in general? Very quick in some ways, very slow in others. V2 is probably, it's in its final stages, but the final stages always takes the longest out of any project to finish. It's a complete package. It's just doing all the auxiliary things, getting manuals, getting information, getting config set up, stuff like that. The actual mechanical side of things, my side of the development, is pretty much done. We've got lots of projects that are being started. So we got V1.6, V2, which are our main two projects at the moment. We've got Atlas, which is kind of being worked on in the periphery. There's a variation to Atlas I would like to make where it's a polar version of Atlas instead of just a Cartesian version of Atlas. That way you can effectively run 4 axes plus lathe style operations on 3 axes of movement. There is another project that I haven't announced yet, but it's not CNC related. Well, it is CNC related, but it's not CNC mill related. There's the pendant, which Lotto started. Moss is always an ongoing project. V2, I didn't even start my V1. Lol, I literally have zero space at home now where I put my tools. I know the feeling. This is as much space as I have right now, and I have to put a whole new mill in the only open space, and I've got a new 3D printer arriving sometime in June or July or whenever they decide to actually ship it. Milo should come in a package with a nice low percent mortgage. Yay. Oh, fuck. Oh, I forgot to put that back in the y-axis. No. It's okay. It's not going to require a full disassembly of what we've done. Hey, saw your stream is on and decided to pop in. Hey, no worries, Mr. Hans. Thanks for coming. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. Feel free to ask whatever you want in chat. Streams always go a lot better when people interact. Are you planning to do a CNC lathe, something similar like that? No. Again, another thing we've talked about to death on this channel. Lathes are cheap enough that the best thing that you can do for a performance to dollar thing is buy a mini lathe and convert it to CNC. It is cheaper and probably more accurate than anything that we could do with extrusions and makeshift spindles and stuff like that. And you'll probably be able to do bigger work on it. Milo makes sense because mini mills are expensive, and then converting them is expensive. Milo has enough kind of like, not power to weight ratio, more like a performance to dollar ratio than a CNC mini mill does. A CNC mini lathe doesn't work out to be the same kind of thing. Is it hard to convert a lathe to CNC though? No, not necessarily. There's a lot of plans that you can just buy out there. A lot of people do the conversions and then sell the plans on Etsy. So you can just do it that way. Some people even just make full-on conversion kits. I know Grizzly machines are pretty easy to convert. I know Precision Matthews machines are pretty easy to convert, and they're pretty popular to convert as well. The thing is, Milo will never perform better than a cast iron mini mill, but it performs well enough at its price point to still be worth it. Slap some steppers on it and call it a day. It's a little bit more complicated, but essentially, yeah, a mini lathe is one of the easiest things to convert to CNC, honestly. And the nice thing about doing it with a mini lathe is you can kind of get away with worse performance machines when you're doing CNC stuff, because you can just take lighter cuts, and you can change a bunch of parameters. Obviously, keep the chip load going. The chip load should never drop below a certain threshold, but so long as everything else is good, it's fine. You can just lower the depth of cut or width of cut. So the nice thing about CNC is you can kind of just leave the machine to do what it needs to do. Is there a plan for a 4th axis addition to V2? Yes, it's going to be the same 4th axis. So kind of all our accessory bits are going to be able to be used across all the machines. So it's going to fit on V1.6, it's going to fit on V2, it's going to fit on Atlas, it's going to fit on whether or not we do a router down the road, it'll probably fit on that. And it'll be all the same electronics and stuff as well. I think, to be honest, Milo is a pretty beginner-friendly entry into CNC. Felt like I'm building a big Lego kit when I got my kit like a month ago. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely more accessible for a lot of people. Right. What do I need to do? What am I doing? I need to do some stuff. I need to put this on this side. on this axis, and I have another one to put on the y-axis, but I forgot to put it on earlier. It's fine. These aren't strictly necessary, especially if you're not using ball screws, because you don't need to spin the screws as quick to get the same feed rate. So these are only really there to help with screw whip, and if you're spinning the screws less quickly, then screw whip's less of an issue. Right, nice. And then I need to move this axis towards me. That's why I got the drill, just so I can finish screwing in the rails. Before I do that, though, I'm going to tighten the rails down on this side. Nice, nice, perfect. And now I can move it forward. Sweet. And then I can fill in the last few screws that I'm missing. And I also need to redo the X-axis motor mount, because it's changed a little bit. I think this is the longest stream we've done in a while. Are those printed parts some new design for V1.6 compared to V? Yeah, so this is V1.6. So this V1.6 is designed to be upgradable from V1.5. V2 is not upgradable from V1.6 from V1.5. Sorry. There's just a few too many changes. This is kind of like the last bit of support that you're getting for the V1 series of machines. And we wanted to port over as many features as possible from the V2 to the V1.6. Hey, or Trident still using plastic idlers and other gantry parts. One of the things I'm still lurking on Milo project is being able to pimp out my Vorons in a way I'm wanting to. That Voron was built before I had my V2 up and running, so yeah, I would have loved to do some CNC parts on it, but I never got around to it. There are CNC parts on it. The idlers that attach to the X-axis are, I think, the Chaotic Labs ones. But other than that, I just didn't really see a point in CNCing it. And I also didn't have the machine ready and at hand. Is Atlas going to be a larger work area than Milo? Yeah. So, ignore the black bit, but this is the full travel size of Milo. Anything you can fit on here, you can fit on, this is V2. This is the full travel size of V2. Atlas will be 2 of these plates side by side. So, 350 by 400. ABS works pretty well for Voron. Metal parts are nice, but not really needed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And again, I've had the Trident longer than I've had any Milo. But the thing is with Atlas, Atlas is going to be 150 kilos of machine. It's not exactly going to be, it's more aimed at people who have like a garage. It's technically going to take up less space than the full enclosure system for Milo does. But you can pop Milo on a workbench fairly easily. You can't pop Atlas on a workbench. And Atlas is going to be a lot more expensive. Most probably. And probably won't come in a kit, because it's going to be too big to ship as a kit, at least from LDO. I gotta transfer some heat inserts from one thing to another. For the most part, hey, look at that. Look at this thing. Look at it in all its glory. If LEO don't, I probably will find a way to do Atlas kits. I just have a really good feeling about it, i.e. a platform worthwhile putting an ATC on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, flood cooling probably be possible on Atlas, but it's one of those things where it's technically possible and within what someone is willing to do in their backyard or garage are two different scales here. Because you need to go and like cork up a load of cracks, make sure that fluid doesn't come out, make sure that fluid pumps are set up, stuff like that. And fab trays are something we can do. It's a possibility. It's all possible. It's just whether or not it's worthwhile doing. Because one of my ethoses about doing any project like this is it needs to be able to be made by the average Joe, and if it can't be, then I'm not making it. So fab trays are great when you've got someone who's willing to make them, and thankfully Dave is someone who is willing to make them and get someone who can make them. But it probably wouldn't be, and it wouldn't be something we did as a stock build. Wabamad, I can weld and measure. Yeah, that's great, but lots of people can't. So it's kind of the ethos of as long as you've got some Allen keys and as long as you've got a wrench or a drill, you can build it. To be fair, I think it would be a group buy situation earlier. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. It's the same with like LDO kits. LDO kits for Milo are better than the stuff that we make as a self-source, because you can do that kind of thing when you've got the economies of scale behind you. So we designed for self-sourcing. That doesn't necessarily mean that people will do everything self-sourced and self-built and stuff like that. Build volume changes, there's some ease of use changes, the homing locations are different, the way we deal with tramming is easier on the V2/V1, well, yeah, on V2. V2 has two, so out of a single kit, you can do two different setups. You can either have it so the x-axis moves the entire table, just like this Milo does, or you can do it where the rails are on top and it's just the build plate that moves from side to side, and that takes up less area. V1.6 and V2 both get the printed way covers. So at the front, V2 has a way cover at the back of the y-axis as well, whereas V1.5 doesn't have the room for it. Sorry, V1.6 doesn't have the room for it. It's more that we came to the end of what we could realistically do on the V1 platform. So V2 helps us move forward with that. But we also didn't want to leave people behind who already built their 1.5s or are planning to. So we wanted to get V1.6 out there as well, so that people can still upgrade and still get the majority of the things that V2 will get. Where was I? I needed to do some stuff. Oh yeah. Don't forget, if you're enjoying today's stream, there is a like button that you can smash down below. It might not seem like a lot, but it does really help the channel grow. And if the channel grows, the project grows. And we can do more cool stuff. I like covers. I assume the aim is to protect the rail bearings from eating. Yeah, it is there to protect it, and it does help. But it was mostly a community ask for thing. We've been running V1.5s without the covers for V1s even without the covers for going on 3 or 4 years now. We've never had an issue due to chips other than build-up, but you can manage build-up by just removing chips. It's more of a thing of dust. If you're not confident enough and you're running your machine too low on the depth of cut or width of cut, you can produce dust, aluminium dust, or instead of chips, and that dust gets into your screws and things and starts to wear down the screws. I've been up since 5:30, so I'm toast. I'll leave you for this evening. Good night. No worries, young again. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being my timer person as usual. It always does help. And hope you have a good sleep. Bye now. How many kgs of filament will you need for V1.5 and V1.6? V1.5 was 3 kilos. V1.6 will probably be similar, 3.5 maybe, 3.5, 4. If you're talking full rolls of filament, how many rolls of filament you're probably gonna have to buy? Probably 4. It also depends on the configuration you're going with. V2 is definitely 4, maybe 5. I'm getting distracted. What do I need to do? I need to pull this forward. Hopefully I don't lose any balls. Motherfucker. Ow! I saw that coming and I still did it. I saw that coming and I still fucking did it. Ow. If you haven't realized yet, I'm an idiot. Oh, me too. Ever since I started using Milo, my thumb looks like it has received 1,000 paper cuts from changing tools. Oh, nice. There's that really human instinct of looking at something sharp and running your finger over it and then being surprised when you cut yourself. Oh, I am bleeding a little bit. Right. Okay, so the screw stabilizer is in. I just need to tighten the spider coupler so that it stays in place and it's actually grabbing the screw. There we go. Medic! Thanks for all the work you guys have done. I've been wanting to get into machining for a long time. Been building printers for a decade now. Been printing, but I'm no designer. No worries, dude. Absolutely fine. We stream most days, well, most weeks, sorry. If you ever have any questions and you want answered, hop on a stream or go onto the Discord and you'll have a deluge of people who will answer them for you. And honestly, it is a pleasure an honor and a pleasure to be able to just help people out. I think this is going on our longest stream in a while. Normally streams are like an hour and a half, 2 hours. God, 2 hours, nearly 3 hours. 2 hours 48. I think we will be finishing off soonish though. Locking collars on. This is my first stream that I've been able to watch live. I'm in Canada and my work has made it impossible. Really looking forward to the Atlas. Nice, dude. Whereabouts in Canada are you? Oh no. What's happened? I stripped it. I've stripped it, hasn't I? I fucked it. No. What happened? It's not the Northern Alberta. Oh, cool. I used to live. Well, I lived for a year in Canmore. Oh, I lived for 6 months in Canmore. I don't know why I said a year. By the way, I was thinking about getting the HOI upgrade. And is there any gains from maybe getting / making it out of steel instead of? Yeah, you'll get some gains. I don't know how many, because the thing is, you're still relying on an aluminium backplate to screw into. Canmore is nice, lots of hippies. Yeah, that was my impression of the place too. I was one of them. I used to be a very much a hippy-dippy type of dude. Yeah, I think I've stripped. Oh, that's okay. You don't technically need these brass ones, and I don't have any more. So you don't actually need them. So I'm just going to leave it out. Nero in one of the streams said there is an option to choose NEMA 23 for the Milo. I didn't find that option at the purchase. So my question is, what kind of steppers are in the kit? The NEMA 23s. It's not an option. They're NEMA 23s. They don't have. We don't do NEMA 27. Sorry, we don't do NEMA 17s or anything below 23 here. We don't go any higher because then the amperage requirements go way up. You're going from 2.8 amps to up to 5 amps when you go to NEMA 34, which is the kind of the next step up. NEMA 23 is in that nice level where you can still drive it with PMC drivers, and they produce enough torque because they're around 2.8 amps. Yeah, with the HOI upgrades, you're still screwing into an aluminium backplane. So unless you make that also a steel backplane, which is perfectly possible to do, there's no real point in getting the steel HOIs. But if you want to, why not? Yeah, not doing NEMA 17s. No way. You just cannot get enough torque. So V1.4, V1.3 all had options for NEMA 17. They weren't powerful enough. They just were not powerful enough. I got the most powerful ones that I could find, and they were like 2.4 amp. Ones from E3D, and they sucked. Once you're getting into like the higher stuff, the higher feed rate stuff, or setting up anti-backlash systems where there's a lot of friction in the system, they just don't produce enough torque. Anyways, I forgot that I was meant to be taking some inserts out of something. So I'll do that now. Right. I suppose this is a good time to remind people that most of the project is self-funded and or funded through donations. If you guys do fancy, if you guys do enjoy what we do here, there is a link down in the bottom to a Patreon and a PayPal link. You don't have to donate, but every bit that does get donated does help the project grow and keep on trucking on. And if you can't donate, there's a like button too. So how many Europeans do we have in chat? Sign yourself off if you say I if you're European, say nay if you're in the Americas. Just more curious than anything. I wanted to donate ever since I finished Milo, though I ate up a little fund I had for it, so wait until summer I can work a bit more. No worries, dude. Absolutely no worries. Hey, Sion's still here. Moo if you're in Oz. Cool. So we still got loads of Europeans. I would have thought most of the European audience will have left by now. Hell yeah. So far, we've only got one North American. It's the weekend, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, true. Been listening to the background while I bring up new prototype hardware. Oh, cool. Right. That off. Motor. Oh, back is so cracky today. Right. So that needs to go that way around. Cool. Right. Finally, this thing is looking like an X and Y axis. Oh no, I've had ABS shrinkage. Maybe I'll be American soon. No. Oh, Bill's here. Hey, Bill. How you doing? This way around. No. If you're going to be... if Canada's going to be part of the US, then so is Greenland. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? It's just how it works. I mean, if Trump gets what Trump wants, come on. Fighting a cold. Oh, sorry to hear it, bud. Yeah, sorry to hear it, dude. I know all too well what that's like. I had a cold a few weeks ago, and it just knocks you for 6, doesn't it? Not by choice. Yeah. I don't even think it's American people's choice to be American right now. Canada equals US, no chance in hell. No, I get you, bud. I get you. Don't worry, I don't think you should be part of the US either. No, I'm not insinuating that at all. We are just embarrassed. Hey, in all fairness, it's not all American people's fault. It's a lot to do with how your voting system works as well. And in all fairness, the British voting system is not any better. I don't like the fact that we vote for a party and not a person. But we do vote for a person at the same time. Because we all know who the party leader is. And oftentimes that's the leading thing that drives voters. Good thing we have hobbies to get escapes and stuff. Exactly. And on that note, I'll shut up about it because I don't want to remind you guys about bad things whilst you're on stream. I don't mind people talking about it. I just don't want to remind people about all the shit that's going on in your life. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Like in Canadian voting. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of systems are like that. Is Trudeau out yet? Has Trudeau been replaced yet, or is he still working until the new guy comes into power officially? Mark Carney is the boss now. Okay, cool. What is it about Trudeau that no one likes? I've never really been explained it. I know he did the whole Indian dressing up as an Indian thing, which didn't go down very well. Sorry, dressing up as First Nations. That's what you call them now, isn't it? Or rather, that's what they always should have been called, but yeah. I'm intrigued now. Why is his replacement worse? I don't get it. I put the motor on at the wrong time. Gonna have to take the motor off again. I can't speak for all Canadians, but letting the vocal minority dictate policy pissed a lot of people off where I live. Oh, yeah. No, I understand that. I think that's a lot of politics, though, is you've got to deal with the person who's shouting the loudest. from what I've heard recently, he's been pretty good with the whole tariffs thing. But then again, my only real knowledge on Canada, on up-to-date Canadian news, is Nero. In my limited understanding, Trudeau started to do right things when it does not make much sense. Okay. Do you have an example of that? Right, motor needs to come off again. Meaning too late. Okay, yes. So, yeah. Too little, too late is kind of what you're talking about. Am I right? I also put the motor on the wrong way around, so it's a good thing I caught that. It's a good thing I have to take it off. Now we are in a terrible position to deal with tariffs. Okay, so from what I'm getting is you think that he made decisions that make tariffs harder on him. Sorry, on Canada because of the decisions that were made in the past. Yeah, no, I get. Am I kind of getting it right? Anyhow, is there any chance UK will ever part of the EU at some point? I don't know. Depending on who else is having a shit time, that's when the UK decides whether or not they want to be part of the EU. I wasn't in the UK. I wasn't living in the UK when that vote was made. I actually remember listening to BBC radio in East Africa on the way to school when the referendum was voted. Well, yeah, when the referendum came through. My parents having to literally stop the car to gasp at it. After World War III. Yay! There are some young people in the UK who want World War III. Which is terrifying to think of. Way too butthurt. Yeah, exactly. I think the issue is when the UK makes decisions that they regret, they don't want it to seem like it was a regretful decision. But for a very long time, everything was blamed on Brexit. So a lot of the British public don't actually want to be part of the EU. They do want to be part of the EU now that they've had to go through Brexit and everything's either gotten more expensive or bureaucracy's gone out of control in some ways. Yeah. I missed your question. What degree do you have? I am a student now at university. A Great Manchester doing mechanical engineering. Oh, cool. My degree has nothing to do with anything I do now. It's not an engineering degree. My degree is in outdoor leadership. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Outdoor Leadership. I was meant to be my whole kind of upbringing. I wanted to be a guide. And then I started kind of working with the groups that guides take out, and I work in the outdoor industry now. And I can tell you one thing: if you think retail's bad, work in the outdoors and be treated extremely badly by everyone who wants to be outdoors but doesn't want to get wet from the rain. Mechanical engineer for life. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally self-taught in all this stuff. Like a lot of us are in this community, we're all self-taught with mechanical design and engineering and all that stuff. It's a good thing we are a nice sunny country. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Right. I'm gonna move this table over, and then we'll get those skirts back on. And then that'll be us for, oh, excuse me. That'll be us for the rest of, that'll be us done with stream. Ugh. Really? I can't speak. Where doesn't it rain much? Hell? I don't think it rains much in hell. I wouldn't know though, it's been a while since I vacationed there. I hope that helps you with, I hope that answers your question. I'm leaving you guys, going for a beer Friday. No worries, enjoy your beer, dude. Have one on me. Thank you for coming. I always appreciate it. We're finishing up soon anyway, so you're not gonna miss much. Woo! Who's watched, who remembers what Megatron looked like in the first of the Michael Bay Transformers movies? His transformation. I always think it kind of looks like that. It's a really weird thing to say, but yeah. Really random thing to say. By the way, I do like directions where UK and EU are going in at the moment, meaning I had a feeling that Brussels might cave after Trump spanked Zelensky like a schoolboy. I'm very grateful that it did not happen. Yeah, I don't, because here's the thing. If Putin takes Ukraine, Ukraine is still the breadbasket of Europe, right? It still produces the majority of the food that gets sold in Europe as a whole. So if Russia takes it, they can go full Trump and issue tariffs on all that food, and we would be able to do nothing. But it's a lesser spoken about talking point about the war, but it's a really important one, especially to me, because I'm really behind backing farmers and backing the agricultural industry. But it's something that a lot of people aren't talking about. When the war first started in the UK, everything went up in price. It's a good thing we are supporting UK farmers. Yeah. Yeah. I'll never understand the whole... I'll never understand people's reluctance to help farmers and pay farmers what they're owed. It makes no sense to me. And then all the people who constantly get in the way of farmers as they work. The people who go over to tractors and have literally pulled farmers out of their tractors whilst they're tilling fields because they think that the tractor's too loud. That happens in this country. It makes no sense. And whilst I don't really like Jeremy Clarkson, other than from a comedic standpoint, he's done a fucking great job at actually showing people what it's like to be a farmer. I'm a farmer in Canada. Maybe we stop selling our wheat and canola to China and sell to UK. Go ahead, please do. Ironically, I feel like Clarkson has been the best thing for farming in the UK for years. I don't think you're alone in thinking that. I think that's a very common sentiment, especially amongst farmers. It's funny that this is like the third time Clarkson's farm has come up this week. For any Americans and North Americans watching, if you don't know, Jeremy Clarkson, the guy who used to be on Top Gear, runs a farm in the UK, and he has a very, very successful TV show about it. And he talks a lot about what it takes to be a farmer in the UK. He does all the common pissing about and laughs and stuff. It's the same kind of TV as Top Gear was. It's just a different topic, I suppose. But yeah, he's done really good for British farming. I think no matter what, this is going to be a huge shakeup for trading and defense in the world. I agree with you. It's nothing that scares countries more than thinking that you could just be wiped off the map at any time by someone who is currently at war with someone else, but could potentially be at war with you. Well, I do not mind 200% on bread and gas. That's much as the brilliant opportunity to be a vassal state of Moscow once again. I was born in the SSR, so I kind of have some memories of how great it was. I'm watching Clarkson Farm. He has great talent to make every story likable. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, he's pretty good with that. Preach, brother. I do appreciate the North American kind of spirit to talk about politics. The UK politics, people just say that people just call each other assholes, but never actually do anything about it. And on top of that, there's almost no intelligent conversation around it. It's normally tell them that you moan about it and then move on. Whereas in North America, it's more of a, let's talk about it, let's moan about it, let's have our sides, let's pick these things. And whilst, yes, that can be a bad thing in some ways, it's nice, it's kind of refreshing to see as well. I am getting a little bit tired of British moaning. But again, it's the moaning that gets most people through the day, so I also can't be too upset about it. It's kind of gone to the fore, us, or against us. Oh, it's kind of gone to the for us or against us mentality here. Very divided. Yes, I agree with you. There was a line that someone said the other day. The American right is not the same as the right in anywhere else in the world. I'm not even talking the far right. I'm just talking like the standard right-wing conservative person in the US is extremely different from, let's say, a German European Denmark, someone from Denmark, not far right, but right-leaning person. It's a very different mentality. Your normal Republican is what we would class as the extreme right here in Europe. Like, even the Conservative Party here in the UK isn't that conservative. Right. What I need to do something. What did I need to do? Oh, yes. I need to test one thing just to make sure that I don't need to modify it for the next session. Sweet. Look at that. Can't believe you're talking politics. The thing is, it's always easier to talk about politics for a country you're not part of, isn't it? Isn't it? Like, I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not I don't really contribute a lot to political conversation, but it is a lot easier to talk about a country that you're not part of. There was a really good graph that showed over the successive terms of presidents how in the past you could be on the left and vote for the right ideas, and right would vote for the left. Yeah. But look at the American Civil War as a thing. It was the Democrats who were the ones who were pro-slavery. That's why the American Civil War happened. But now it's the complete opposite. They've done a 180. I think politics are on a lot of people's minds these days. Very hard. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to make it the primary thing that happens on these streams though. So I'm happy to do it for this one stream. But we'll call it after that. Yeah, hard to avoid but toxic in most. Yeah, I agree with you. As a very strong centrist, I don't mind talking on either side. I can see both sides quite easily, depending on the severity of what both sides mean. Canadian politics in a nutshell: Liberals spend with not balanced budget, Conservatives come in and balance the budget, and the cycle starts all over again. Fair enough. I mean, we'll still probably talk tariffs and how it affects production and pricing. Oh yeah. Yeah, tariffs will always be a topic of conversation as long as they're around. Anyways, we have an X and Y axis. I'm probably going to end stream here soon, but let's put a pretty shiny thing in here. Right. We'll hold that down. Well, I won't put it in there properly just yet. But next stream should hopefully be the end of the V1.6 build in terms of the actual structural stuff. Obviously, if we get everything organized that we were talking about earlier in stream with the electronics box will then be packaged with this Milo. If you live in the UK, or you can organize shipping to wherever you are in the world, we are going to be giving away this exact machine once it's done. We're either going to be doing it without the electronics box, if that falls through, without any electronics, or we're going to get everything together for the electronics, and we're going to set this up. I need to machine one more plate for the Z-axis, but I need to buy some stock for it, so it might be a few days to maybe next week before we stream again. But yeah. thank you guys all for coming. It really means a lot when we have this many people show up. If you do want to support the project, like we've said many times, there is a link down in the description to our Patreon and to our PayPal account. It goes directly towards funding the project, buying stuff so that we can build more cool shit and release it all to you guys. I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day. If you could swing us a like, that would be great. If you can't, no worries. Thanks. Bye now.